All right, folks, the debacle that is Obamacare never ceases to become a bigger debacle. And welcome back. Joining us right now is Congressman Mo Brooks, Republican from Alabama. Hello, Congressman.
Hi, how are you doing today?
Good. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. Before we get started on what you want to talk about with regard to Obamacare, and there's probably nothing more important, and that's security concerns, which I think there's been enough evidence presented in testimony and from hackers that the site is not safe. But now leading the Drudge Report site, it says that since the Obamacare law doesn't carve out any exemption for volunteer firefighters, the IRS under the healthcare law looks at the volunteer firefighters as employees. So if there's 50 or more of them, they have to be provided health care unless the government provides an exemption specifically for firefighters. Many in Congress, I don't know if you've heard about this, are urging the administration to yet again selectively change, and enforce the law and carve out an exemption for these people. Otherwise, towns might have to lose their volunteer fire departments.
Just another adverse effect of a very improperly and poorly planned law.
Yeah, without a doubt. All right, let's focus on the security now. I mean, you're telling your constituents what exactly about going on or not going on the Obamacare website?
Well, there are serious security risks associated with Healthcare.gov and some of the ancillary Obamacare program websites, such that I encourage American citizens to not go onto any of those websites until such time as they are secure and they have been fixed. We've had plenty of testimony before Congress talking about how ineptly done the security part of the website was, and we're starting to see examples of how hackers are able to penetrate Healthcare.gov or various exchanges. And if you give those websites your personal data, particularly data relating to credit cards, debit cards, you're at risk of those things being stolen, which in turn means you're at risk of being financially injured by cybersecurity thieves.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, we heard from first it started with Kathleen Sebelius, if I'm not mistaken, who admitted that, convicted felons might get a hold of your information, might even be taking the information of the subscribers who were signing up because there was no background checks done on these people. And then from there, I remember there were 4 security experts in Congress. I remember CBS Evening News on my ride home played a soundbite where they asked them, just say yes or no. Is the site secure? And you got 4. No, 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 no. And then, they had hackers testifying saying, this is easy. So the fact that this isn't, trumping almost everything else, and that the media isn't sounding the alarm for the people of this country, saying, "Wait a minute, don't go on this website." I guess I should be surprised the media is not doing it, but I'm not. But this is a real outrage.
Well, it's going to get worse. One of the reasons that there hasn't been more publicity about it so far is that the website has been so poorly designed and operated that there aren't very many people who have actually gone all the way from A to Z. And right now, what I mean by A to Z, I'm talking about where you actually have insurance and you're paid for it. That's where you pull out your credit card and you pay for it. Once the website is fixed enough to where you can go all the way from the beginning part of entering your initial data to the end part where you buy the insurance that you've decided, that's when you're talking about the mother lode for cybersecurity thieves. And that's when you're going to hear more about it. I'll give you an example. The D.C. Exchange. All congressmen and senators and congressional staffers, they are required by Obamacare to purchase insurance through the D.C. Exchange. If they're going to have insurance, that's where they're supposed to get it, okay? Well, in the past week, we have discovered that there is a phishing scam that has been implemented through the D.C. Exchange. So if you go to the D.C. Exchange website, and you happen to pick on the wrong icon on that website to take you to a subpart of that website, all of a sudden you might go to an entirely different screen than was intended, one that's operated by cyber thieves, and they're trying to get our credit card information, our debit card information. And this is the D.C. exchange website that you would think would be one of the most secure,
yeah.
because after all, it's the one that congressmen, senators, and Capitol Hill staffers use, which in turn means it's the one that the White House would want to operate the best, because once these elected officials and staffers start getting personal treatment with how bad Obamacare is, they're the ones who can repeal it.
Congressman, you couldn't make this up, could you?
Well, it would be difficult to. Maybe you or I couldn't, but the president could, because he did.
It is really incredible. I want you to hear one thing, and we're talking right now, ladies and gentlemen, to Congressman Mo Brooks, Republican, Alabama, here on the Steve Malzberg Show. I want you to hear a soundbite from this Sunday's Fox News Sunday with Chris Wallace. Ezekiel Emanuel was on, and Chris Matthews asked him, said, hey, the president wasn't telling the truth either when he said, if you like your doctor, you could keep your doctor, was he? And here's cut 21.
The president never said you were going to have unlimited choice of any doctor in the country you want to go to. Let me just finish.
Wait, no. He asked a question. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor. Did he not say that, sir?
He didn't say you can have unlimited choice.
It's a simple yes or no question. Did he say if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor?
Yes.
And then he went on to say, but you'd have to pay more for it. You could keep your doctor now if you want to pay more for it. I mean, this, they look at you and they tell you that the sky is green and the grass is blue, and if you don't agree with them, and this is on every issue, there's something wrong with you.
Well, I hope the American people are starting to figure out that the only reason we have the individuals in the White House is because he's been very, very good at deceiving the American people into thinking one thing when he actually means another. Obamacare is a good example. There was obvious deceit that was used to create the public support to get it passed back in 2009 and 2010. There was deceit again going into the election where the mantra was, if you want to keep your health care plan, you can keep your health care plan, period. If you want to keep your doctor, you can keep your health care doctor, period. And to boot, it's going to cost you less. Remember the pledge that if
yeah, I think $2,500 a family, absolutely.
Okay. This guy is the deceiver in chief. I don't know of a more accurate way to describe it. It's very disappointing. It's very frustrating. We've got Democrats on Capitol Hill who are going to defend Obamacare no matter how bad it is. And the American people who are having to choose between one person saying A and another person saying B and not doing the homework to figure out who's telling the truth, well, the Democrats are able to buttress themselves for the November 2014 elections because so many of their close allies are unwilling to look at whether those Democrat candidates are actually telling the truth to the American people. But it should be quite clear that this is one of the biggest con games, one of the biggest instances of deception that has ever emanated from the White House and from the United States Congress on the American people.
Yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. Very quickly, sir, not to throw you a curve, are you guys going to come to an agreement, all of you, on some kind of a budget deal or a smaller deal?
Well, the Democrats are trying to set the stage again for another government shutdown. Hopefully the Republicans this time will be a little bit smarter and not fall into the trap. But the Democrats right now, they crave something that will distract public attention from the calamity known as Obamacare. And it's going to get worse, okay? You're just seeing the tip of the iceberg. People who think that the rollout was bad, wait until you start seeing the employers canceling millions millions of insurance
2014 is going to be a disaster. Yep.
It's going to be a disaster. And so the Democrats, they need a shutdown. They need something dramatic, perhaps a war, something that will deflect public attention from how bad this socialized medicine system is, this scheme that they've put forth. And so we may not come to an agreement, but if we don't, it will be because the Democrats refuse to abide by the spending limits of the Budget Control Act that the president originated and that the Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid, Democrat, supported and lobbied for, along with the congressional Democrats and Republicans. It was a bipartisan bill.
Congressman,
if the Democrats will adhere to that, then we will not have a government shutdown. But if they don't, then we might.
Congressman, thank you very much. I hope you'll come back. Thank you. Congressman Mo Brooks.
My pleasure.
Steve Malzberg Show. We are coming back.